The Galactic Institute of Advanced Learning towered above the crystalline surface of Station Meridian 7, a monument to interspecies cooperation. Within its halls, the children of 100 worlds studied side by side, learning the delicate art of coexistence. But coexistence, as Guard Commander Thexlar was about to discover, did not mean equality. Emma Mitchell sat in the back row of Xenobiology 301, her auburn hair tied in a messy bun, sketching absent-minded doodles in her datapad's margins. At 17 standard years, she was one of only 20 humans enrolled in the entire institute, a testament to humanity's recent and controversial admission into the Galactic Council. Most species still viewed Earth's inhabitants as primitive curiosities, barely evolved beyond their violent origins. Thexlar knew this well. The towering Krillian had served as security for 3 decades, his chitinous exoskeleton marked with scars from a dozen conflicts. His compound eyes could track movement across 4 spectrums, and his 4 arms made him a formidable presence in any confrontation. He took pride in maintaining order, in keeping the lesser species in their place. When the alarm blazed through the eastern wing, a supposed security breach in the restricted genetics laboratory, Thexlar moved with practiced efficiency. His tactical visor identified the perpetrator immediately. A human female, running through the corridors with a sealed container, clutched against her chest. Emma. She'd been in the wrong place at the wrong time, retrieving a forgotten assignment from her lab station when the actual thieves triggered the lockdown. Now she ran, confused and frightened, trying to reach the main atrium where she knew Harry would be waiting. Thexlar didn't hesitate. He'd dealt with rule breakers before, and humans were notoriously fragile. 1 arm would be sufficient. He caught Emma at the intersection of corridors, his massive clawed hand clamping around her bicep and yanking her backward. The container, merely her lunch thermos, clattered to the floor. Emma gasped as her shoulder blazed with pain, the Krillian's grip designed for species with reinforced skeletal structures. "You will submit to detention," Thexlar growled in common tongue, dragging her toward the security station. That's when his first mistake registered. The human girl didn't scream or plead. She went utterly still, her breathing changing to something sharp and controlled. Her free hand moved to her chest, palm flat against her sternum. Heartbeat 1. Emma's eyes, which had been wide with confusion, narrowed to calculating slits. Her fear transmuted into something else entirely, something the Guard Commander's threat assessment programming should have recognized but didn't. Heartbeat 2. "Release me," Emma said, her voice dropping an octave. "Now." Thexlar tightened his grip, amused by the audacity. Human juveniles do not give orders to. Heartbeat 3. Emma's left hand shot up, fingers rigid, striking the joint between Thexlar's primary and secondary shoulder plates. The blow was precise, surgical, targeting a neural cluster that most species didn't even know the Krillians possessed. His arm spasmed involuntarily. Heartbeat 4. Before Thexlar could process what happened, Emma pivoted, using his own grip as an anchor. Her boot connected with his knee joint, not the obvious one, but the tertiary stabilizer hidden beneath his exoskeleton. He stumbled. Heartbeat 5. "I said release me." Emma's voice carried the flat affect of someone who'd trained for exactly this scenario. Because she had. Every human admitted to the Institute underwent mandatory self-defense training not against their peers, but against the galaxy that viewed them as prey. Heartbeat 6. Thexlar attempted to engage his backup arms, but the human moved like liquid shadow. She wasn't stronger, humans never were, but she was faster, more adaptable, her primitive brain processing combat variables with terrifying efficiency. Heartbeat 7. Emma's elbow found the sensor cluster on his visor. Cracks spider-webbed across the display. His multi-spectrum vision collapsed into confusion. Heartbeat 8. "Emma." Harry's voice cut through the corridor. The human boy rounded the corner, his expression shifting from concern to grim recognition in an instant. He didn't ask questions, another unsettling human trait. He simply moved into position, flanking Thexlar's blind side. Heartbeat 9. The Guard Commander finally released Emma, stumbling backward. His tactical training screamed warnings he should have heeded earlier. Humans were Deathworld natives. evolved on a planet that actively tried to kill them. They were endurance predators, pack hunters, persistence incarnate. Their bodies were weaker, yes, but their minds were weapons honed by 4 million years of surviving the unsurvivable. Heartbeat 10. Emma stood straight, rubbing her bruised arm. Harry positioned himself beside her, both humans watching Thexlar with that characteristic flat-eyed stare that predators reserved for threats. "I was retrieving my property," Emma said calmly, gesturing to the fallen thermos. "I triggered no alarms. I stole nothing. You assaulted a student based on species profiling. The corridor's security feeds would confirm every word." Thexlar's career flashed before his compound eyes. Within the hour, the actual thieves, 2 Ventaxian juniors, were apprehended in the genetics lab. Within 2 hours, Thexlar stood before Director Kasumi, his service record under review. Within 3 hours, every species in the Institute had heard the story. The human girl. The one who fought back. Emma became a legend that day, but she never sought the attention. She simply returned to her xenobiology class, sat in her back row seat, and continued sketching in her datapad margins. Harry brought her ice for her bruised arm and said nothing, because humans understood that sometimes survival spoke louder than words. Thexlar learned his lesson in those 10 heartbeats, learned what the Galactic Council was only beginning to understand. Humans might be new to the stars, might be smaller and softer than most species, but they carried Earth's legacy in their bones. They were the descendants of creatures who'd looked at saber-toothed cats and said, "Not today," who'd gazed at the stars and said, "We're coming," who'd faced extinction 100 times and simply refused to die. You could drag a human. You could underestimate a human, but you only made that mistake once. In the quiet of the security office, stripped of his rank insignia, Thexlar touched the dent in his exoskeleton, where Emma's elbow had struck true. He finally understood why the galaxy feared Earth's children. Not because they were strong, because they were clever, resilient, and absolutely unwilling to be prey. And that made all the difference.